Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy Matisak, and I'm here with Karl Middleman. Karl is artistic director for the Philadelphia Classical Symphony. More important for our purposes, he is a speaker with the Pennsylvania Humanities Council. And Karl is with us for the Humanities on the Road taping of Dvorak's New World. We're in Altoona at the historic Mishler Theater. What a wonderful place this is. And we thought we'd just give you a chance to get a behind-the-scenes view of what the show is all about. And Karl, first of all, you have said that this type of classical music should not be exclusionary and rarefied, but it ought to be fun. It ought to be accessible to people. Tell us more about that. As a music educator, as a conductor, what do you mean by that?
Well, we're used to getting introduced to classics through the three Bs, Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms. Just hearing myself say that, I imagine those composers on pedestals. And we don't automatically include Dvorak in there because his music is much more picturesque. This is grand picture music. These are landscapes in the New World Symphony. So these are very exciting and very audience engaging pieces. I feel like I have to work very little for this presentation because the music is so evocative.
You have been one of the most popular Humanities Council speakers over the years. Tell us about some of the other great music that you've been able to share with audiences.
Well, I enjoy this, I guess, a combinatorial career, and have done a lot of speaking. For the Humanities Council, I've spoken on Mozart. Sometimes I've dressed up in costume and spent an evening with Mozart. And I particularly like to talk about the humor in Mozart, and I do a talk called Mozart and the Marx Brothers, because I think a lot of us think about these composers as rarefied characters. And it took the movie Amadeus to show a real flesh and blood character, but of course that's somewhat fictionalized. But in fact, if you look in the music itself, there's a tremendous amount of humor there. And if we can learn the language of it, which I've spent many years trying to do, learn the language of the humor, that can be a really great foothold for appreciating a lot more of the music.
Finally, Karl, what is the most fun for you about a performance like this one with Dvorak's music, and what do you want the audience to take away from a program like this?
Well, I would like the audience to take away the humanitarian aspects of this. This music is fantastic, and being on stage with the Altoona Symphony, it almost blows me away. They're so wonderful. Their conductor, Teresa Chung, just does an amazing job with them. But underneath it all, I think there's this grand epic, and Dvorak was part of this incredible saga. He was a little ahead of the cusp of composers who represented the American experience and which involved assimilation of diverse cultures. He was a little bit ahead of that, and then once he helped open the drawbridge, tons of other composers followed. And today we're living in that period now where this cross-fertilization of styles surrounds us. But it was a totally different matter back in class-conscious Boston and New York, where Dvorak was living. So I guess what I would like to do first is have the audience just love the music and be blown away by it like I am, but also look beneath the notes and be able to experience this grand narrative and the great humanitarian aspects of Dvorak's search.
Well, Karl Middleman, thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us before we tape the program. We certainly hope that you can join us for Dvorak's New World with the Altoona Symphony Orchestra. It's going to be fabulous, and we're looking forward to it. Hope you are too. I'm Tracy Matisak. We'll see you next time.